I have a big range, small range. Big range is in hundreds of rows over here. Small range is only 21 rows. Okay. So from this range itself, if let's say imagine this is a huge spreadsheet in thousands of rows, how do you find out? How do you navigate around this? Right now, the key to use is two of them, control and the arrow keys. So if you want to go down from the date here in A1 to say the last row, you go control and the down arrow key. It'll bring you down to row 21 here, or 5,000, 10,000 rows. Okay. Now you need to do that navigation sometimes just to have a good understanding how many rows you are working with. Now, same navigation is if you use control and up arrow key, it'll bring you up. Control right, it'll bring you to the right side. And control left will bring you to the left. Now, where would it stop? If I say I do control down and it bring me to the last row, if I do another control down, it will bring me up down to the last row in the worksheet. That will be the 1 million rows. Okay, control up will bring me up quickly to the last row. Control up again, it brings me up to the very first row. Okay, looks easy, but try it, because every time after you don't try it, you will not know what happens, and you need to practice as well to make it very efficient for you. Not really, it can be anywhere. So say for example, if I have my active cell in D7 here, right? Okay, I want to move to the top. I can also use control up, control down. It works for any cells in any way. Okay, it doesn't have to be in A1. Just happen that no matter how you move up, down, left, right, in the end you either reach the last row and column, or the first row and column, because it moves and jumps very fast. You will move to the very last column. But what happens if you does it move in between? It moves from endpoint to endpoint. That's the whole idea behind the functions. Okay, imagine if you have an empty cell here, right? You do control up, control down, you notice it stops before the blank. Okay, so if you have many columns, sometimes you have empty columns or empty rows, you know you'll stop there. Okay, so sometimes if you want to know the last row, you may not want to use column D. You want to go to column C, or a column that you know will bring you down to the last row. Then you do control down to the last row. Okay, so it works differently. So by playing with it, you will become better at knowing how it behaves. And after a while, it should become a very natural thing for you to do. Okay, I use it almost every day with large data set. Will I use a mouse? For a small data set like this, it's easy to zoom in and click anytime, right? That's for the mouse. But imagine you have a big range like this, it is no longer easy to use with the mouse, because you need to use the scroll mouse button if you have a wheel to scroll. If not, you have to use the scroll bar here or whatever to scroll up and down, and it may not be easy to see. All right, so that's why I have a big range and I have a small range to show you. Good questions coming in, because I think that when you see Neil, you don't know how the scenario will work, and I cannot tell you all, but questions that I can remove the obstacle that say this is something that I can work with, and what are the scenarios that I can play with. Feel free to ask those questions. I will be able to demo to you all the different scenarios. Okay, now this method is very useful, as in if you want to select a range, okay, imagine again here, this is a huge range, right? Now, if I want to create a formula, I will have to use a shift key and I will select the range this way, okay? So if I press the shift key and I select the range, it will highlight from the very first cell that I'm in. And then this will be the range I select. Okay, play with this. Now, combine the two together, shift and control, and the down arrow key will allow you to select the entire range instantly. Okay, so there's a combination of keys here that we can work with. Very good when you do set up formulas. Okay, so that is tips 001.